But I was telling them behind each job I talk about, somebody's doing the logistics. So when I mentioned different companies like destination management companies, there's somebody in the office doing the logistics if you're more interested in that, and some great backgrounds. Also, I wanted to mention, most people don't even go into this job until their kids are grown. Maturity is actually an asset. And think about yourself. I think about how young I was when I started out. I had been a teacher and I'd been in real estate and medical sales. So I wasn't as young as I like people to think I was when I started. But I mean, if you're going someplace, you kind of like that maturity, somebody that you feel confident they have experience, life experience. And so companies are more interested in how you do than your age. In fact, sometimes they don't even know your age. Sometimes a lot of companies I never even met face to face. So that's how it works. But I wanted to mention that. So last week, I talked about, and I think you have the recording if you didn't see it, I talked about working on the cruise ships. I talked the international ships as well as the ones in the waterway. I talked about cruise hosting, which we've talked about a lot with Tammy, international tour director, tour managers working for outbound tour operators. I talked about working for inbound tour operators as a tour director in the United States. I talked about adventure guides, and something I pointed out, you think of adventure guides as being really young. And this was in my mailbox a couple weeks ago, just before I spoke. And you can see there's gray hair there. These aren't kids. Nice. So, and we kind of talked about Tammy. Linda said she's a real cyclist. So just hint, hint. That's sort of the adventure guide part. Student tour leader. And I was thinking about, in fact, everybody that's in here too, and especially the Boston and Philadelphia area, getting into student tours is really fun. And if you like working with kids, we talked about that last week. Tour guide. And since last week, and I don't think I mentioned this last week, I've been getting postings, and there's a company called Adventure Ghost Tours. So if you're interested in being a local guide, you need to live in that area. They're looking for people. And what's fun is that something like that, they'll train you on the job. And it's usually flexible. When people want the tour, you're available. So if you're interested, go to usadventureghost.com. And they're like in the Boston, Massachusetts area, all the way down the coast, all the way down to Key West, Florida, across the South, California, Los Angeles, all the way up to Washington, D.C. So just wanted to mention that. I thought, guys, that sounds like really a lot of fun. So those are the ghost tours, but that's sort of related to last week to help me with that. And we talked about step-on guides last week, where you step on the coach and direct the drivers and the guides. And something I don't have in my book that I wanted to mention, flight attendants. We're hearing about like the airlines, having such financial problems. I have a couple of friends, one I worked with locally, one's a tour director. They're working for the airlines now. One's with, I think, SkyWest, just finished her training. She's so excited because she loves to travel. And, we're not kids. And the other friend I work with locally, and she's with, not sure who she's with. And I can't even remember. Blue. Anyway, what is it, Blue?
JetBlue?
JetBlue, that's it, thank you. Yeah, she's with JetBlue. And so there are jobs out there doing that too. And you don't have to be 20 and 5'10" and gorgeous like you used to be when I wanted to do it.